Paul, obviously we've spoken about a couple of bits of business this week. Just how happy are you now sort of with the way that the squad is, and do you feel it's sort of getting a little bit more to how you want it?
Most definitely, yeah. I think I'm pleased with the business that we've done, pleased you know, with the players that have moved on, comfortable with that, and myself, Milts and Rob Edwards have been working tirelessly since we come in to try and shape the squad, try and find out, you know, what we feel needs to improve. I think we are improving on the back of it.
And you mentioned John Milton there. How big is his role in the recruitment and the advice he gives you of, yeah, Paul, I think we should go for this player?
Well, it's important to have good people around you, and obviously Rob and John are good people. They're definitely in that bracket, and they've been in the game a long time. I've worked with both of them before, so they've been a great help. And it's just hours and hours of phone calls. You know, it's looking at people's personalities. It's looking at, you know, can they fit into what we want. I've already spoke about us being an aggressive team, a hard-working team. You know, and sometimes I think when a player or players have been at a club quite a while, maybe they can lose a bit of hunger and a bit of desire. So that's not you know, unnatural. That's sometimes just what can happen at a club. So I think that we are freshening it up now. I think we are, you know, we've brought the right players to the club in the loans, and I'd like to add one or two more now. I think it's about putting our own stamp on it, and slowly but surely we're doing that. But at the same time, you know, when you do have change, you've got to try and gel a team together and try to make them understand each other's play and our system as well. So it's been a big change here. It's been a huge overhaul in many ways, and it's still ongoing. It's a total new rebuild, and but at this moment in time, I'm happy.
And if you can get the sorts of players that you want, the right type of players, does that make it easier for them to gel? Because that would be part of the reckoning, wouldn't it?
Yes, definitely. So the identification of the players is crucial, and you know, with such a short space of time to sign players between now and Monday, you can understand why managers sort of moan about the transfer window, because it forces you in many ways into rushing things when you don't really want to. But at the same time, we're working tirelessly to try and make sure we do our homework on any player that we bring to the club, and also make sure that if we let a player go, that we're doing the right thing as well. So the whole process is you know, it's a long process, and it's many hours on the phone. But ultimately, we're enjoying it. We're enjoying shaping the club, how it needs to be shaped, and trying to take it forward.
And you mentioned maybe one or two more. Any chance before Saturday, or would they be done sort of after the game?
I think at this stage, you never know when something's going to happen. I mean, last night I got a phone call. Well, phone calls all day about another player at our club, and it was sort of agreed last night. And then this morning, there's problems with one of their players going out. So things can happen very quickly. Sometimes things take a while, but ultimately, I'm sure when I come off the training field, my phone will be full of answer phone messages and texts and emails, and you look through them, and you basically see where you are at, you know, after every hour, every day.
And how difficult is it to prepare for a game when you've got everything else going on around you in terms of the window being it as it is?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's important not to take your focus off the game, but you know, this is why having people around you that can make the phone calls, who understand what type of player you want, would understand the money side of things. Okay, so we're still working to a budget, we're still working to you know, value for money, and all of those things take time. But having said that, you know, I have to focus on Saturday's game, which we have, you know, and we'll train again today and tomorrow, and we'll be in good shape ready for Saturday.
Because looking at the table tells you all you need to know about how important this game is, doesn't it?
They're all important, they really are. But yeah, it's the next game. The table is very, very tight. But you know, we're in good spirits, and we're in good shape, and the old saying is you're only as good as your last game. Well, we'll take that, because it was against a really good side in Luton. So, and we performed well. We need to take those performance levels into Saturday. You know, but if we do that, we'll give ourselves every chance of winning the game.
Because if you like, the last time you were in a really good place after the Oxford win, didn't manage to follow it up at Hartlepool. So, I mean, is that something you'll be emphasising to the players? Look, just keep this momentum going.
Yeah, it's fair you say that. I think, you know, that was the game that I was disappointed with. I said that, you know, it was the only one where we didn't really perform. But at the same time, you know, Luton was a different kettle of fish for me. I think, you know, it's no disrespect to the Oxford game or Oxford, but Luton are a very, very well drilled team, and they really do push you. Okay, they really test you in every way, and we stood up to it. And I want the players to take strength from that. We'll speak about that this morning. I want the players to take belief, and also trust themselves. Trust themselves that they can go to Dagenham, put on a really good performance, which we've seen already this season, and go for the win. We won't be going for a draw. We won't be going to sit in. We're going to try and win the game, because I felt the performance levels have been good. We've always been in games as a rule, and I'm pleased with the players' attitude.
Durrell's signing obviously announced yesterday morning. Is he in contention to start? Would that be not necessarily too soon for him?
I don't think it'd be too soon, because he's been playing regularly at Torquay. You know, he's played a lot of games. He's not a novice, so he does come into contention. But at the same time, I was happy with the way the boys performed in the last home game, and I'm looking for some stability. I'm looking for some continuity, and you know, laying it down to the players that, you know, to keep the shirt. It's a very, very simple line of thought. You know, keeping the shirt. You know, do the right things. Whether you're a defender, midfielder, or striker, do the right things. But it has to come from that hard work, grit and determination, which we're going to need all weekend.
And injuries? Any changes to those who are in the treatment table?
No. Asa Hall is pretty long term, so that's a blow for him and for us. Stevie's not right yet, so no, other than that we're okay. And I must admit, the tempo of the training's been excellent. The players have really started to put their foot in training, but the key is now to be careful. You know, we don't want them injuring each other in training, but at the same time I'm definitely seeing a change in them every day in terms of them understanding what we want.
Thank you.
Cheers, thank you.
You mentioned that tempo in training, but that's something that you've spoken about quite a lot. Is that something that you said now getting there? Is maintaining that going to be the key now?
Yeah, it is maintaining it. Yeah, and it's I was pleased with our fitness levels against Luton. I was pleased that we finished the game strong. You know, you didn't see a situation where we dropped deep. I think against Morecambe we did. We seemed to tire. You know, we seemed to tire the last 15-20 minutes. But against Luton, our fitness levels looked very good. And I think that has to come with time and change of the training regime and what we're after. Because, you know, if a team sees that you're flagging and, you know, you can't last 90 minutes, you know, they'll deal with you. Like, you know, and I've said it before, we were getting bowled over. We were getting rolled over, smashed. Now we're not. Now we're looking resilient. We're looking strong. And I think if you are fit in your body, you'll be fit in your mind. And I think the players can take great strength in the way they're training and the way now we're lasting in games. Because Tuesday is always a fitness day for us. It's a strong day. We did a hard session Tuesday. The players had Wednesday off, and you know, I could see the fitness levels going up.
Yeah. You mentioned the Hartlepool game and that coming after a good performance. How much will you speak about that this week with the players, or is it something that they know about already and they don't need to be reminded of?
I thought about that. I thought about whether I mention it and drag that back up again. I'm certainly not going to brush it under the carpet. No chance. I think the line I'd rather go on is looking at what we did against Luton. Now, you're not going to face a tougher team than Luton, because still his teams are big and strong and powerful. So, you know, in many ways at Hartlepool we got caught out. We got sort of caught out with the conditions. We got caught out, you know, in the game management. What we've got to do Saturday is work the game out very quickly and deal with it, and have to change. If we have to change and go longer, we go longer. We did against Luton. At times we stuck the ball in behind and we looked a real threat. So I think it's a case of just being ready. You know, when the first whistle goes on Saturday, we've got to be ready, and we've got to take strength from nearly beating a very good team at the weekend.
The team that played against Luton had the sort of mark of a team with round pegs and round holes, and everybody being comfortable in positions. Is that a team that you say almost picks itself? The players have kept the shirt, but in the way that they set up as well, it seemed to work.
It did work, and you know, it was it a gamble playing Zach? You know, the boy's only just 19, but I thought the responsibility he showed defensively, him and Gray on the other side, is massive for us. You know, we know what they can do going forward, because we saw that. You know, they both, one made the goal and one scored the goal. So we know what they can do going that way, but I've been working with them, especially Zach, you know, and what he's got to do when we haven't got the ball, because we can't afford to just leave it wide open. So the team performed well, and you know, yeah, of course I want to get some continuity in the team. But at the same time, Lloyd did a great job for us, playing sort of right back, right side. You know, we worked at Howes would stay up, and again this weekend we've got to be tactically right, and the players have got to be committed. But as you saw at the weekend, it was a really good performance, and one that's given us a lot of hope.
Yeah. On transfers, has Byron leaving allowed you to shop in a slightly different supermarket, as it were?
Oh, Marks and Spencer's.
Yeah.
I'll say it instead of Tesco's. Not really. No, I think it's helped the situation financially. Definitely, I think it's put a smile on the faces of the board, and which is nice. And because nobody wants to have players at a club that are not involved and not playing. You know, especially higher earners. You know, and I'm not afraid of saying that. So everybody at the club want to, you know, serve a purpose, and you know, really think they've got a chance of playing and going for it. And I think we're getting towards that now, and I think that it does help me in terms of looking at players. I'd rather try and maybe get a couple in, you know, now on the back of the business that we've done.
You say a couple, would that be a couple of strikers maybe, looking to have real competition in there?
Possibly, yeah, but because the bench is important as well, you know, and at the moment we are relying on sort of younger players. We're relying on, you know, of course we've got Terry Gannell still, and I've given Terry a rest actually, because he's one player that puts in a hell of a shift. I mean, Terry Gannell's work rate has been unbelievable since I've come to the club, and in training and in the games, and he's had very little reward in front of goal. He's been so unlucky at times. So I've given him a bit of a rest, and he's actually looked a lot better for it, Tel. So he's the one that we've got that can come on, you know, and with the experience. But you know, Bobby, Harry, you know, a lot younger than Murray, it's a lot younger. So if the right players become available and it suits us with the budget, then I'm sure I'll be back to get those players in.
You mentioned one maybe going out. Is that now something that was maybe happening last night?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was, and I'm glad I didn't mention it. So that's annoying, because if a club says deal's done, it means deal's done, and then you get a call back. But I don't know if it's playing games or what it is. But you know, I've said to the people from that club, you know, if it's not done by today, it's dead. So I'm not going to mess around.
Is that the kind of thing that you want to get things done early, not to drag it out until 10:50 on Monday night?
Well, yeah. If I phone you up and say, you know, we do the press conference today at 9:15, and then I'll ring you up around about 10:15 and say it's not coming, or it's off. I mean, so I'm not too pleased with that, to be honest. But you know, everyone does business different, so we'll see what happens.
And you're prepared to take it to anything to 10:50 on Monday night? You've got two batteries in your phone.
Paul Godfrey has already sent me a long email telling me the times and where he's going to be, and you know, so yeah, I've done this before. I've done some good business before, right at the very end. So I was close to doing a couple of things earlier on in the week, but then, like I say, I just get my head around things, and if it's not right, I won't do it. I'm not just going to bring a player to the club just to add numbers. You know, if we have to continue with what we've got, then we will. And so I'm not too displeased with the weekend at all. Very encouraged by it. So if nobody comes in before Saturday, then you know, I think I'll be just as happy as if we bring him on or two.
Just finally, the loan situation, any development from where the situation was a few days ago with the Liverpool trio and Jay extending it?
Yeah, I think we're close. I think we never want to say for definite until it's signed, but yeah, I think we're very close. I think Liverpool are happy that the players are playing. Alex, that was the whole point of the loan, that we were sure that they were going to be right for us, and that Liverpool were sure, and it's worked well. I think it's worked really well so far. I think certainly our football club and yourselves have seen what those three players can bring, and the biggest thing for me is they've fitted in with the squad. They've fitted in with everyone. You'd think that they were sort of our players here, the way they go about their business, and it's so important when you bring players from, we all know the Premier League now, it's a million miles away from League Two, but testament to those boys and to our group that they fitted in so nicely. But this again is why you do your homework, why you take time to get it right, because if you bring players in and it don't work, it can be a right mess. It can be a right mess for those players, and it can be a right mess for the group that you've got. So it's a really important time. It's such an important time for the whole dynamic, and especially with us with a lot of change. But I must say, in my opinion, it needed to change.